For 12 years, Obi fed, housed, and clothed her husband Dike until the night he won $100,000. That same night, he left a note. "You've never been my class. I deserve better," and disappeared. Never trust the loyalty of a poor man.
His name is Mr. Dike, and you will swear he was a saint. Because if you met him in the early years, you would have sworn this man was sent from God. Faithful, present, hard-working. Every morning before the sun even finished rising, Dike was already outside Obi's little Ankara kiosk, tying bundles, arranging fabrics on the rack, calling out to passers-by. "Fine Ankara, come and see, oh, your wrapper is here, oh." This man hawked his wife's fabric with more energy than if it were his own. That kiosk was small, just a corner store in a busy market. A few rolls of Ankara, some thread, some zips, a plastic chair where Obi would sit and negotiate with customers. But they made it work. They shared that plastic chair. They shared that small income. They shared that one-bedroom apartment where the rent was always tight. Obi paid the rent. She bought the food. She clothed the house. She did everything, and Dike stood beside her and helped her carry it. So she never complained, because at least he was there. And she never made him feel less. Their daughter, Ada, came, and Dike held our baby like she was made of gold. Neighbors would say, "That Dike, he don't do well, oh. Not every man go stay like that." And Obi would smile because she believed it. She believed in her husband. Right up until the afternoon, the market went mad. Obi was deep in a negotiation. A woman wanted 15 yards of Ankara for a burial, but she was pricing it like she wanted it for free. Then the shouting started, first from one direction, then from another, then everywhere at once. People running, laughing, screaming, pointing in the direction of her kiosk. "Obi! Obi! Your husband don't win!" Obi's legs stopped working for a moment. She grabbed her bag, she left the customer, she left the fabric, she left everything, and she ran home. And when she got there, Dike was standing in their small parlor, phone in his hand, the notification still glowing on the screen. She screamed. He screamed. She jumped on him. He spun her around. That night they didn't sleep. They were planning a bigger shop, Ada's school fees, a better apartment, maybe a small car. Obi cried happy tears that night. She held her husband and said, "God has finally answered us." She went to sleep smiling. She woke up to a note on the pillow. 7 words. That was all Mr. Dike left after years of marriage. "You've never been my class. I deserve better. You're not even my type." Obi read it 3 times, 4 times, 5. She thought she was still dreaming. She got up. She went to the wardrobe. His bags, gone. His shoes, gone. His suits she had bought him for church, gone. She went to the parlor. His phone charger, gone. His wristwatch, gone. She went to Ada's room. Ada was still sleeping, 4 years old, one leg hanging off the bed the way children sleep. Her husband had walked past this child in the middle of the night and kept going. Obi sat on the floor of that corridor between her daughter's room and her empty wardrobe, and she didn't cry yet. She just sat there, processing what a man who she fed, clothed, sheltered, and loved had just done to her face. Some women fall and never get up. Obi fell. She fell hard. She cried so much her eyes swelled shut. She missed market for 3 days. She lost weight. She lost sleep. But on the 4th day, she woke up, looked at Ada, eating bread with no butter, and something hardened inside her. She tied her wrapper. She carried her bag. She went back to that kiosk, and she never stopped. She added zip to the kiosk, thread, linen, interfacing, sewing notions, things women needed that nobody else was selling in that corner. She started doing printing, putting names on wrappers for occasions. Chief Mrs. Nwosu at 60, in gold lettering on deep blue Ankara. She started making customized burial prints, full family designs, printed and delivered. Her reputation grew. When Ada entered secondary school, Obi was working from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. When Ada wrote JAMB, Obi had already saved her first year fees. When Ada got into medical school, Obi sat in her car, yes, her own car now, and cried all the way home. Then she went back to work. Meanwhile, Mr. Dike was living, new apartment in the GRA, new wife, Alice, sleek and sharp, the kind of woman who ordered food she didn't finish, new car, a maid, clubbing, shopping, trips. Dike wore agbada to ceremonies and men greeted him first. He was the kind of man who ordered expensive wine just so people would see the bottle. He forgot Obi like a bad dream. He forgot Ada like a mistake. And Alice played her role perfectly. She dressed well, she spoke well, she stood beside him at events with her hand on his arm. Nobody asked where the first wife was. Nobody asked about the daughter. And Dike didn't volunteer the information. The afternoon that changed Obi's life forever. She was sitting in the back of her shop going through invoices when her phone rang. A government campaign committee. They needed customized Ankara 200,000 pieces, full print, delivered in 6 weeks. 200,000 pieces? Obi put the phone down, picked it up again, asked them to repeat the number. They repeated it. She said, "Give me 24 hours." She spent that night on the floor of her shop doing calculations. She called her suppliers, she called her printers, she mapped out the timeline. She signed the contract the next morning. 6 weeks later, she delivered every single piece. The money that landed in her account that day, she sat in her shop alone and wept. Not because she was sad, but because she remembered the woman who used to share a plastic chair in a corner kiosk. She used that money to renovate, then expand. She bought the empty shop beside her, then the next one, then the building. She built a plaza. Obi's Ankara Plaza. Wholesale and retail. 3 floors, air-conditioned showroom, delivery service, corporate accounts. From one kiosk, from one woman with no husband. Mr. Dike started getting sick quietly. First it was fatigue, then headaches, then his speech started slurring at dinner parties. Doctors, more doctors, specialists, bills. Alice stayed for a while. Then the money started thinning. And Alice, that well-dressed, perfectly spoken woman, started moving things. Small things first. Jewelry, electronics, then documents, property documents, everything in her name that she had quietly insisted on over the years. Mr. Dike had a stroke, full paralysis on his left side, wheelchair, speech affected, confusion. 2 weeks after he came home from the hospital, Alice was gone. Not just gone from the house, gone from the country. Police investigated. Her trail went cold at the airport. She had sold his duplex before she left. The real estate company knocked on his door 3 weeks later. The property had a new owner. Mr. Dike had to vacate. He came back to the old street. Obi and Ada had long moved, a proper house, gated, quiet, 3 streets over. The old apartment had a new family in it. Dike rented a single room. 1 room for the man who used to arrive at parties in a convoy. He sent people to Obi. First an uncle. The uncle came back with nothing. Then a pastor. The pastor came back with nothing. Then neighbors, mutual friends, old acquaintances. Obi received them all politely. She offered them water. She listened. And then she said quietly, every time, "When I was struggling, where was he? When Ada was crying for school fees, where was he? When I was paying off loans alone, where was he? Tell him I wish him well, but I have nothing for him."
Because let me tell you what Obi understood. Forgiveness is not restoration. She had forgiven him years ago, not for his sake, but so the bitterness wouldn't eat her alive while she was building. But forgiveness does not mean she owed him a home. Forgiveness does not mean she owed him her plate. Forgiveness does not mean she had to reopen a door he kicked down and walked away from. She had a daughter who was now a medical doctor. She had a plaza. She had a house. She had peace. She had built everything he left behind and then built 10 times more. She did not need him in her story. Not then, not now. If you pass through that street today, you will see Obi's Ankara Plaza. 3 floors, big signboard, customers coming and going from morning to night. And if you look carefully, a little further down the road, there is an old man in a wheelchair sitting outside a single room, watching the cars pass. Sometimes he looks at the plaza. Sometimes people drop food at his door out of pity. He sits there every day, waiting for something. But what he's waiting for will never come, because the woman he called beneath his class built an empire without him. Life has a way of circling back to teach every lesson it tried to show you the first time. Mr. Dike didn't lose his money. He lost his conscience. And when you lose that, no lottery, no Alice, no fresh start can save you. But Obi never lost herself, and that made all the difference. Comment below. Should Obi have taken him back, or did she do the right thing? Tell me what you think. This is Tales by V Africa. Don't forget, we don't just tell stories but life lessons. Let me know where you're watching from. I will see you in our next one.